Module 7, Attitude and Work Ethic. Creating a positive attitude is one of the best things you can do for your productivity and your workplace happiness. People who have a consistently positive attitude are seen as approachable and can build more effective workplace relationships. A positive attitude also serves you well when you face challenges or setbacks. It breeds resilience. Coupled with a positive attitude, a strong work ethic helps you build strong relationship with teammates and superiors. A solid work ethic also helps you find reward in the work you do and shows a dedication not just to goals and outcomes, but to your overall professional development. What are you working for? Being clear about what you're working for is a key part of building a positive attitude and strong work ethic. If you are not sure what you are working for, it can be difficult or even impossible to fully invest in a project or in developing your skills. Take time to clarify what your personal goals are, both in terms of specific projects and in terms of your overall career. Set specific goals and then create plans to achieve them. Tie these goals to your day-to-day tasks and responsibilities so that you can keep them in sight. When working with a team, it is also vital that you outline clear group goals. Know what each member of the group is working for and what the group is collectively working for. Find ways to consistently tie individual tasks or steps to the overarching group goals and to individual members' personal goals. Caring for others versus caring for self. Is there really a difference between caring for others and caring for yourself? Too often, we assume that to show care and concern for others and their needs, we have to put ourselves and our needs at the bottom of the list. We may believe that we can either practice self-care or be a good colleague and team member who demonstrates compassion for others, but that we cannot be both. However, when we come to the realization that we have shared goals with those we work with, we can find a way to both care for ourselves and care for others. We may also realize that caring for ourselves is in itself a way of demonstrating care for others. That by taking good care of ourselves, we become the best colleague we can be, which demonstrates care for others. Even more, we may hold the false belief that there can only be one winner in any given situation. As a result, we may believe that we can pursue our own goals or help others pursue theirs, but never do both. Seeing the ways in which everyone is interconnected and the way in which everyone's success benefits the entire group is an important attitude shift. When we can find a way to care for others and ourselves, we develop a more positive, productive workplace. Building trust. Nothing undermines productivity and morale in a workplace like lack of trust. If people don't trust you, they find it hard to work with you, invest in you, or pursue shared goals. Take the time to build trust with those you work with, and everyone will thrive. Many of the soft skills help to build trust: effective communication, openness and honesty, a positive attitude, and a strong work ethic. Continuously demonstrating that you are trustworthy helps not only to build personal relationships, but also to create buy-in for your initiatives and projects. People who are deemed trustworthy by colleagues share some characteristics. They are skilled at their jobs. They are passionate about their work with a strong work ethic. They communicate honestly and value transparency. They have others' best interests at heart. They care about people and demonstrate this. They are self-aware. Work is its own reward. One result of adopting a positive attitude and strong work ethic is that you begin to see work as its own reward. When we operate from the standpoint we are no longer working with others or completing tasks based on what we will gain financially or professionally from doing so, and this makes us seem more engaged and trustworthy. There is nothing wrong with valuing our salaries and other compensation. They are a vital part of why we work. However, when we take the focus off the material rewards for work and instead focus on the satisfaction we derive from the work itself, we are better able to grow and thrive. A person who clearly loves what they do and considers it a reward in itself is also more trustworthy, as others do not question his or her motives. If it is difficult for you to consider your work as anything other than the source of a paycheck or path to advancement, it may be time for you to consider why you do the work you do. Learning to practice gratitude around your work is one way to learn to see it as its own reward. What does your work provide you in terms of satisfaction, contentment, excitement, and other non-material benefits? Are you excited to do the work you do? Why or why not? Do you feel content at the end of the day with what you've accomplished? Every day won't be a dream come true. There are always rough days. But if you can find a way to love the work you do the majority of the time, you are on the path to greater professional and personal happiness.
Yuki said she was only in her job for the money. She worked hard all week and counted the days until Friday and often seemed unhappy or bored with her work. Her manager asked her what her motivation was, and she told him it was her paycheck. Her manager then asked what she would be working for when the debt was gone. Yuki couldn't answer. Her manager suggested that she should think more broadly about what she was working for and how she could find other rewards in her work. They brainstormed a list of Yuki's goals and then discussed how she could view her work within the context of these goals. Yuki felt more engaged in her work.
Module 8, Adaptability, Flexibility. Two of the most important skills you can have are adaptability and flexibility. Some people mistakenly think that the ability to change according to the needs of a situation, or a willingness to compromise, show weakness or a lack of conviction. In reality, the ability to compromise, change in response to changing situations and changing needs, and thrive are key to success in the fast-paced workplaces most of us find ourselves in. Change can be scary, but learning to adapt and flex as needed is an investment worth making. Getting over the good old days syndrome. But that's how we've always done it. Things were better back when we... Do you find yourself saying these things? Most of us fall prey to the good old days syndrome, when we look back at the past and believe that everything was better. This can pose a serious obstacle to our ability to adapt to change. If we are convinced that the good old days were best, we are unlikely to give a new way of doing things a fair try. When you find yourself thinking back to the good old days, give yourself a reality check. Ask yourself if things were really as good as you think you remember. Most of us romanticize the past. Be honest with yourself. Try to recall obstacles, problems, or difficulties you had with the thing you are remembering as so good. And remember, there were people in the good old days who are wishing for their own good old days. Changing to manage process. One of the most common situations in which we will need to change, flex, and adapt is when processes change. In order to navigate the new process and help others to do the same, we need to change not only what we do, but how we approach it. New technology, globalizing businesses, and changing needs all lead to changes in our work processes. If we hold on to the old way of doing things, we risk reduced productivity and revenue, as well as conflict and other challenges. When we adapt to a new process, we are not just learning a new way of doing a specific task. We are demonstrating our ability to adapt to changing circumstances, learn new skills, and work with others. Changing to manage people. Managing people is not a one-size-fits-all ability. People need different things from a manager. Some need lots of feedback and guidance. Others prefer to work independently most of the time and to get feedback only at regularly scheduled intervals. Some people need a great deal of hands-on training with technology or equipment, while others will come into your organization as experts. Taking the time to learn what your people need and then changing your management style to meet those needs is hugely important to workplace success. When you adapt your management style to meet the specific needs of the people you manage, this demonstrates that you care for others, that rather than expecting them to conform to your preferred way of doing things, you want to invest in them and help them grow. Take the time to ask the people you manage what they need from you, what their goals are, and how you can be a better manager, supervisor, and colleague. Then, take steps to make the changes that you feel will be most helpful. Showing you're worth your weight in adaptability. How can you showcase your adaptability at work? Studies show that people who are highly adaptable may be more highly valued at work than those who are highly skilled but less willing to adapt, flex, and change. Take the time to show how adaptable you are, and your workplace is likely to see you as a worthwhile investment. Some ways to demonstrate adaptability on the job are: be open to alternative solutions when your first suggestion does not go over well or succeed. Be willing to take on new roles even when they are a stretch for your skills. Be willing to help others generate alternative solutions or plans. Be willing to accept the unexpected. Keep your calm even when things are moving fast or are stressful. Demonstrate confidence in your ability to complete the job even when you've had to adapt or flex.
Martin, a manager of 30 years, felt he was tough but fair. He thought it was best to treat everyone the same so that things were fair and equal for everyone. When he started at a new company, he was frustrated because he felt his employees needed a lot of hand-holding. Martin expressed his frustration with a colleague who responded, "Our younger employees are newly out of college and aren't sure what to do. They are used to having a lot of face time with their supervisors." Martin didn't want to change, but he couldn't let things continue as they were. He spent more one-on-one time with them so he could discuss goals and expectations. He noticed that work improved.
Module 9, Self-Confidence, Owning It. The single greatest thing you can do for your own success is build and learn to show self-confidence. Self-confidence is not egotistic or acting like you are better than others. Self-confidence is simply the belief that you know what to do and how to do it, that you are good at what you do, and that you can handle whatever comes your way. Demonstrating self-confidence helps to engender trust in you and demonstrates that you are skilled and adaptable. Confident traits. What does it mean to be confident? Studies show that confident people share many of the same traits, even across cultures and industries. Cultivating those traits you already have and developing those that you do not yet have will build your overall self-confidence. Remember, self-confidence is about building yourself up, not tearing others down. When you're confident, you make others around you feel confident too. Some common traits of confident people include: they are not afraid to be wrong, they are willing to take a stand even if they end up being wrong, they value finding out what is right more than they value being right, they listen more than they speak, they do not seek the spotlight and they share the spotlight with others, they ask for help when they need it, they think in possibilities, not obstacles, they ask why not, they don't put others down, they aren't afraid to look silly or foolish, they acknowledge their mistakes, they seek feedback from only those who matter, they accept compliments, they walk their talk. Self-questionnaire. How confident are you? It can be hard to assess our own self-confidence. Taking some time to ask a few questions and answer them honestly can help you gauge the areas where your confidence is high and the areas in which you can develop greater self-confidence. Ask yourself if you agree with these statements. I intuitively know what's right for me. I walk my talk. I am honest with others. I am honest with myself. I feel comfortable being wrong. I am more interested in finding out what is right than being right. It is not important to me that I be right all the time. I feel like I can meet any challenge. I operate well under pressure. I do not put others down. I like to share the spotlight with others. I have a clear vision for my life. Surefire self-confidence building tactics. Self-confidence is a trait that can be built. In fact, a very few simple tactics can help you quickly build your self-confidence. And as you become more confident, you will have experiences that will build your confidence even more. Here are 10 surefire tips for building self-confidence. Dress your best. Knowing you look good is a key to feeling good about yourself. When you know you look good, you project confidence. Take the time to choose clothes that fit well and which you feel good in. A good haircut that is easy for you to style is also key. If you enjoy makeup, jewelry, or other types of adornment, find pieces you love that make you feel like a million. Stand up straight. Good posture is a quick, free way to build your confidence. Stand up straight and keep your shoulders back. Don't be afraid to take up space. A bonus of good posture is that you breathe more deeply and get more oxygen, which may mean you have more focus. Practice gratitude. When you take the time each day to practice gratitude, you see how many blessings you have in your life. This builds your confidence and appreciation for your life. Compliment others. Confident people take time to compliment others. When you compliment others, you project that you have concern and appreciation for others. Accept compliments. When someone compliments you, accept it. Too often we say yes, but instead of just saying thank you. Spend time with people who build you up. This helps keeping you focused on the positive. Build others up. One key trait of people who have high self-confidence is that they build up others rather than tearing them down. Having self-confidence means that you do not feel competitive with others. Their success doesn't take away from your own. Find ways to build up others. Compliment others, acknowledge their contributions, and express your gratitude. Being a mentor can also help to build others up by helping them develop skills which will help them develop their own self-confidence.
Kurt had trouble presenting his work to his colleagues and often felt nervous about public speaking. When he would present his information at meetings, he would stutter and become very embarrassed. He couldn't understand how everyone else gave presentations with such ease. He started dreading coming to work and his performance began to suffer. His manager, Mark, noticed this and sat down with Kurt for a one-on-one meeting. Kurt expressed his concerns and asked for Mark's advice. Mark reminded him that everyone gets nervous and that the harshest critic anyone will ever have is themselves. He told Kurt that he did great work and should be proud of it. Kurt felt much more confident in his abilities.
Module 10, Ability to Learn From. No one likes criticism, but the ability to learn from it is key to professional and personal development. Learning to accept and learn from criticism is a valuable investment in yourself. The ability to listen to and accept criticism is a key component of self-confidence. It also demonstrates that you value what others have to say and helps develop a sense that you are committed to what you do and to your own growth. Wow, you mean I'm not perfect? It can come as a shock when we get feedback that we're not as perfect as we might like to think. However, one of the hallmarks of a confident person is the willingness to recognize mistakes and accept that sometimes we are wrong. The key is to keep the focus on improvement, not on defending ourselves or on the reasons why we did the thing we are being criticized for. When you accept that you're not perfect, but that imperfection doesn't mean you are a bad person, you have gained a valuable skill. Remember that no one expects you to be perfect. They just expect you to be the best you can. And criticism is offered in the spirit of helping you achieve excellence, not to make you feel bad. Listen with an open mind. Your active skills come in very handy when you're learning to accept and learn from criticism. It is tempting to defend ourselves when we receive criticism, but it is vital to resist this. When someone offers you feedback or criticism, listen with an open mind. You may not agree with all or any of what he or she has to say, but it is important to hear the person out. Reflect back what you understand the person to have said and check for understanding. Answer any questions non-defensively and do not interrupt. Listen to understand, not to respond. Analyze and learn. After someone has given you feedback or criticism, it's fine to ask for time to consider what he or she has said. Always thank the person for the feedback. Take time to analyze the feedback and decide what items you want to act on. Give yourself time, especially if you feel defensive. Even if you do not agree with everything the person said, see what you can draw out of the feedback that you can learn from. When you have analyzed the feedback, choose some action items that you can use going forward. You should then investigate training, courses, mentoring, or other ways in which you can act on the areas of feedback that you agree with or think are valid. If you have difficulty analyzing the feedback, seek out the help of a mentor, supervisor, or trusted colleague. Clear the air and don't hold any grudges. Even when it's not meant to be, criticism and feedback can feel extremely personal. When someone gives you feedback, it is important to clear the air and not hold on to any bad feelings or grudges. Take the time to thank the person for his or her time and for caring enough to give you feedback. Affirm the relationship, especially if the criticism has been harsh or difficult to hear. Remember that when people give you feedback, they are doing so with your best interests at heart. If you find yourself feeling defensive or holding on to negative feelings even after the feedback session, make sure to find a way to clear the air as soon as possible. This demonstrates not only that you are committed to your own growth, but that you value the relationship with the person who gave you the feedback.
Everyone avoided giving Dahlia feedback. She didn't take criticism well, and if someone said she was anything less than perfect, she would be very cold to them. She seldom acted on feedback unless she got it from a manager. Dahlia didn't understand why it seemed like people were attacking her and wondered if this was why she was not being promoted. Her manager suggested that Dahlia should try learning new skills around feedback. She took a weekend course and realized that she had not been listening with an open mind and had been damaging her relationships with her coworkers. She decided to try some of the techniques she learned so she could learn from others' feedback.
Module 11, Networking. Networking is more than just a buzzword. Taking the time to network and build relationships is a key soft skill. Networking helps you create connections with others, which expands your circle of learning and support. Networking is more than meeting people or connecting with them on the internet. It involves building mutually beneficial links where you can learn from and benefit from each other and the relationship. Redefine need. When many people think of networking, they think of it in terms of what they need or what they can get from the networking relationship. Networking can be more beneficial if we instead think of what we can give in our networking relationships. Think about what you have to offer people instead only of what you need from them. When you think in terms of what you can offer as well as what you need from others, it expands your network. You begin to seek out people to whom you can offer yourself, your expertise, and talents rather than just those who have something to offer you. Seeing yourself as someone with much to offer also helps to boost your self-confidence. Identifying others' interests. When you network with others, it's key to identify others' interests. This helps you identify common interests and goals, as well as areas in which you can offer of yourself. When you meet a new person, ask about his or her goals and interests. Ask yourself how they mesh with your own goals and interests. How do they line up with the goals and interests of your organization? How can you integrate your interests with others to find common ground? What common goals do you have? How can you offer of yourself to help others reach their goals? How can they help you reach your goals? Focusing on ways in which your goals and interests integrate with others helps create a strong, powerful network that goes beyond simple friendship. Reach out. To be able to network, you have to reach out. There are many ways to do this, both online and in person. One of the easiest ways to reach out is to join professional social networking sites such as LinkedIn and look for people in your industry or who share your interest. Join groups both online and in person, professional groups and associations, groups which promote skills you want to develop such as Toastmasters, and groups that work for causes you value are all good choices. No matter what you choose as a method of meeting people, the key part of networking is to talk to people. Approach people and start a conversation and cultivate a presence that makes you approachable. Be responsive when people contact you via email or phone. Make time in your schedule each week to work on networking. Schedule it as you would any other important task. Use your soft skills, listening actively, projecting self-confidence, building others up as you network. When to back off. As important as knowing how and when to reach out is knowing when to back off. If it becomes clear that the person you are trying to connect with is not responding, it is time to move on. The last thing you want is for someone to feel pursued. Be willing to back off if a person appears to be trying to distance him or herself. Also, be aware of being too self-promoting. This can be off-putting. Know that you have much to offer to others and that someone not wanting to build a networking relationship with you is not a reflection of your worth as a person.
Gwen was stepping into a new position, and her manager suggested she join a professional social networking site. Kyle, who managed the company's social media presence, helped Gwen with creating a profile. Then they entered her information, focusing on her education, work history, and current position. Kyle advised her to keep her presence on the site professional and positive. She then joined several groups of which she had common interests and sent friendly messages to people. Within a week or so, Gwen had made contact with several people who were experienced in roles like hers and who had advice to give. She was also able to help new alumni from her university with advice on their job searches.
Although this workshop is coming to a close, we hope that your journey to improve and apply the skills that you learned is just the beginning. Please take a moment to review and update your action plan. This will be a key tool to guiding your progress in the days, weeks, months, and years to come. We wish you the best of luck.